Hey guys, so welcome. Are you guys loving this fall weather? If you're down here in Georgia, I'm hoping that we're gonna have a long fall. Oh my gosh! Usually it's really quick. It's hot, then it gets fall for like 2 weeks, and then it gets really cold. So, all right, so we're gonna get to talk today about the process. Hang on, I got a few people coming in. The process of becoming successful, the process of reaching your goals. And so Marianne is reading one of my favorite books of all time, and it's called The Slight Edge. And it literally changed my life. It changed the way I stay healthy, I save money. It changed the way I do my business. And so if you have not read The Slight Edge, please order it. I think you can actually listen to it. It might be on Audible. I don't know. But I like holding a book and reading. And so, because I like taking notes and stuff. If I'm driving down the road, I can't do two things anymore at the same time. What we're going to do tonight, we're talking about the process of getting from where you are now to where you want to be. Okay. And that looks different for all of us. Some of us want to be national sales directors. Some of us want to be top sales directors. Some of us want to be Cadillac drivers. Some of us just want to get our business started. Some of us just want 100 customers. And so it all starts by just a simple step. And here's another book. It's called Chopping Wood. I know that if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, you hear Coach Kirby Smart say that a lot in all of his interviews. He said, we're just chopping wood. And if you think about the process of chopping wood, you hit that tree with the axe on the first time, it doesn't come down. It takes over and over and over in that same spot to finally get that tree to fall. And so that's kind of what your business is about. Your first goal is build to 100 customers as hang out for a second. There's a lot of people coming in. We should have waited. Hang on just a second, guys. Hey, everybody. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly say again what I just said. So the process of getting where you are right now to where you want to be is a simple step of just it's called chopping wood. And if you've ever listened to Coach Kirby Smart from the Georgia Bulldogs, he references that a lot. So I'm sure he's read this book, Chop Wood and Carry Water. And so the motions of tearing down or chopping down a tree is hitting that tree over and over and over with that axe in the same spot. It doesn't fall on that first hit, but it takes over and over and over. And that's what your goal is all about. It's about doing those simple daily steps to having that huge success. And in the book Slight Edge, it talks about those daily disciplines. They're easy to do. They're also easy not to do. And that there is a fine line between success and failure. And it is that fine line is where many of us find ourselves in. You could do those daily booking attempts, but you don't. You get busy with, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you get busy with the laundry, you get busy with this. And so before you know it, your bad habits have determined your outcome. And so with this business, it is not magical, it's mathematical. It's making those booking attempts to get those bookings on your date book. I have always said this, and for those of you who go way back with me, you know that I've always said that if you hold 2 appointments a week in this business, you can have anything over, weekly, over a long period of time. You can have anything that you want in this business. In my first 6 months to a year, I became a sales director. And I earned my first car. Hang on, there's Debbie and Shannon. Hey guys, we're already recording. So by doing those two, that simple thing of holding 2 appointments every single week, I earned my first car, became a sales director. And then having a large family, I couldn't do anymore. I just simply stayed the course with those 2 appointments every single week. And here I am. And I remember about, I would say maybe 15 years in, I look back and I'm like, oh, I guess I am successful. I just kept having my eye on the prize. And I also at that point learned to start being enjoying the journey. Okay. The this whole your career in Mary Kay, it's not a destination, it's a journey. And at every stage, every step, if you enjoy it and you learn the lessons and you celebrate the victories, you I mean, you're just going to have a such a full circle experience. And so I want to just kind of before I turn it over to Marianne, so I talked about having those 2 appointments a week, 2 appointments, fighting for those. Did they always happen? No, because sometimes I held three. If somebody couldn't do that other week, I went ahead and had three, but I may have only had one before. And so it balances out. So in the month, when I would look at my month, I would make sure that I had at least 6 to 8 appointments. That's what I tried to do. Sometimes it would be facials, sometimes it would be double facials, and sometimes it would be parties. But I fought for those appointments, okay? And in the end, it came out. So I'll tell you, week before last, I had 7 appointments in one week. And it's because the 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks before, I had not, because we had started school. Women were busy. They didn't want to book during that time slot. And it's like they all wanted to book. And I'm like, okay, if they want to book, I'm gonna hold 7 appointments. I was tired, I was crazy, but boom, I held those 7 appointments. And it was exciting. And so that's the flexibility of this business. You open up your date book and you sprinkle it in. Now, don't be afraid. You don't have to book 7 appointments. You can push them out. But when you live off your Mary Kay money, like my family lives off our Mary Kay money, and your husband expects $5,000 a month paycheck, you're going to hold those 7 appointments if you didn't hold those appointments before. And so, hang on just a second. Where is this? Okay. And so that's what I love about being able to open up my date book and just fill it in and fill it in where it needs to go. So fighting for those 2 appointments, okay? Easy to do, easy not to do. Okay. Remember that fine line between success and failure. All right. And those daily disciplines. And that's what the book Slight Edge talks about. And then the chopping wood, carry water book talks about, Shannon's trying to get back in, talks about just doing that same thing over and over and over. So building to 100 customers. So when you are, just a second. Yes. Okay. When you are brand new, your first goal is to build to 100 customers as fast as you can. I have always said that having 100 customers is magical. That's where the magic happens. And so fighting and just tracking, a tracked number will grow. I know many of you that have been in for a while, you're sick of hearing that, but it's the truth. When you track something, if you are not tracking your monthly basis and tracking how many new customers you're adding to your list, it's really easy to track when you participate in the PCP program. That's the preferred customer program. That's where in your customer list, the My Customer list or the My Customer app, you have all your customers, and 4 to 5 times a week, or 4 to 5 times a year, I'm sorry, the company will mail the lookbook to them, and you just click, 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 and you enroll them. That's the best way to keep up with your customers. And so I've watched Debbie. All right. So Debbie kept saying to me, I don't have a team. I don't have a team. And, you guys know Debbie was ranked top 15 in the nation last year. And she kept saying, I want a team. I want a team. And I said, it's going to come. It's going to come. And boom, by the time she hit 100 customers, guys, she got 3 new recruits in the last month. Actually 4, and it's all from the chopping wood. Just keep doing, holding the appointments, booking the appointments, selling the product, booking the appointments, Okay, sharing the opportunity, it will come. Mary Kay used to say, so many people quit when success was just around the corner. They gave up on the process. You have to trust the process, okay? And I always say this: when God tries to put me out in the field again, I know it's because somebody's out there that I need to see. And when you're not holding those appointments and you're not booking that appointment, you are denying yourself a gift that God could be waiting for you just to open, and that is being out in the field. Because of your busyness, your procrastination, there are three reasons that women fail at running their own business: time management, money management, and procrastination. Okay. And then I also like to add, I've added also laziness. That kind of goes hand in hand with uh with procrastination. All right. So when you are setting your goals, 30 days builds momentum, but 90 days builds a movement. And so, what I mean by that is, can you do something for 30 days? Can you do those daily booking calls, holding that appointment? If you can do that for 30 days, then you do it for 60 days. It takes 21 days to create a habit, good or bad. Okay. Do it for 60 days. And by the time you do the same thing and you get in that routine for 90 days, you can build a movement in 90 days. Anything can be turned around in 90 days. I've seen it with my own business. My team gets into a lull, I get back out in the field, 90 days, boom, I've turned it back around again. Went to the next level with a different car, possibly Cadillac. Okay. And so 30 days builds momentum, 90 days builds a movement. You can't cheat the grind. If you look at where you are and what you did last year, last month, 6 months, from past a year ago, if you look at your activity, what the results that you get is going to mimic the activities that you put in. Like I said, this is not magical. It is mathematical. It's the grind. You can't cheat the grind. The grind is not ever going to give up anything. The work has to be done. Okay. There's no such thing as a quantum leap. Okay. I'm going to use Debbie's business as an analogy. You can't say that she came in and just blew the doors off everybody. She was consistent for a solid year with her sales, holding parties, holding facials, customer service, dropping off samples for a solid year. And now we're back from seminar, the new year started, and boom, she has 4 new people on her team. That is the grind. It was not a quantum leap. There's no such thing as a quantum leap. The quantum leap is just a bunch of tiny activities over time that compound over time that gives you the results, the success. Easy to do, easy not to do. Okay, so Marianne, I'm going to let you share because you're fresh into the book Slight Edge. And I know this is going to kind of go with, let me pin you, hang on just a second. So guys, if you are popping in and out because of your service, this is recorded. So please go back to the beginning tomorrow and watch it so that you can see the whole thing. Okay. I tried to start over every time I saw somebody would drop, but it kind of got like, probably thinking, what is she doing? And that's why I kept starting over, because I could see who dropped and who was coming in. Okay, Marianne, have at it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And another book that's similar to this and gives different examples is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And so the other book we mentioned, The Slight Edge, that is by Jeff Olson. And what I appreciate about them so much, the big aha for me that I needed to learn, because how you think is really important and it determines how you behave. So another thing that I've also learned, whenever I'm not feeling great or I don't feel like I'm growing, my life isn't full of abundance, more than likely I'm not reading a book besides my Bible. And so every single time I have seen growth in my life in any area, It was because I was reading a book and putting it into play. I personally don't read nonfiction books. I've never really had an interest in those. And just now where I'm at in my season, to me, I don't find a purpose for them when I could be reading something else. I've heard other stories about how that does help with some creativity, but me personally, I find creativity elsewhere. So there's, the time for everything, and you know, yeah. So anyway, training your brain. And so the big aha for me was that the compound effect, the slight edge, is always in effect, whether you're aware of it or not. And it's either going to work against you or you can make it work for you. So first, I just want to say kudos to all of you for showing up tonight, because you are leveraging that compound effect, that slight edge, for your favor. You are training yourself right now. You had choices. You could have not showed up, and that would have been one night of information missed, not learned, and an aha moment that could have really meant something for your business. And so I did the math. I've been doing this for about 9 years, and calling in most Sundays, maybe like 40 weeks out of the year or something like that. And at a minimum, I've been training and learning for 360 hours. I'm sure it's more. And then you take into account the fact that I call in to every, like, Monday through Friday, training hotlines, listening to podcasts. Anytime I'm on the road, I'm training and learning and changing my brain, okay? Because, we're all born a blank slate, and as we grow up, we're programmed in certain ways, and oftentimes we're not programmed well, and so we have to reprogram our brain. And so reading or listening to audiobooks programs your brain properly. And think about the people who programmed you and look at their lifestyles, where they're at relationship wise, financially, health wise, educationally. And if you would not trade places with them 100%, then that means there is something that they didn't pass down to you that you needed to know for your best life. So therefore, you have to go elsewhere to ask a different expert. Okay. So that was training your brain. What I also loved about these was it helped me to realize I can take personal responsibility and I can control this. Sometimes we think that it's luck, or we think that, or that other people are lucky, or that we're not meant for greatness, or that we're not good enough. There's a lot of but excuses. And what this taught me is that there's no excuses, and we all can do this. So I love the quote by Linda Tupin that says, I am where I am today because of the choices that I made or that I allowed other people to make for me. And so again, that's taking personal responsibility. So I hope more than anything today that you take away a new sense of personal responsibility. And so this slight edge, it goes into effect, negatively and positively. So I grew up, my mom, many of y'all know, I had the OG Crunchy Mama. It was no sugar, everything organic, made everything from scratch, like nothing from a box or a jar. I had the honor and the privilege of her cooking from home 3 meals a day, and I had a very healthy life, and I still do. And all of my family is very healthy. And so now I'm the parent, and I've got children, and they're randomly, complaining of aches and pains and this and that, and getting sick more often. And I'm like, what's happening? And I'm realizing it's what we're eating. We're eating differently than how I was raised. And then, I look at other people in our family that were raised differently and eat differently, and they've got always in the doctor's office. And some people think that, just when you get older, that you just get sick and you just have ailments. Well, that's because all those people had made the same choices over time, of lifestyle and everything. But there's a whole group of people who don't live like that because they made different choices. And so that is one of the, easiest ways that you can see that this slight edge goes into effect, and that goes into our relationships as well, our finances, our business, and everything. And so I just want you to be aware, as you make each decision, every decision, it is working for you or against you. And so each time I want you to be encouraged and reminded of, how can I make the best decision? How can I make that slight edge? One of my favorite aha moments of the book and the Slight Edge, they were describing the 2008 Olympics with Michael Phelps, the swimmer. And there was a record, some other guy from a long time ago, he had 7 gold medals. And so Michael Phelps really wanted to beat that record and be the greatest Olympian with 8 gold medals. Well, Michael was swimming, he had 7 gold medals. So he's tied with this world record. And it looks like he's going to lose this race. And so he was going to end up tying. Well, when the numbers come up, Michael Phelps has won. He has become the greatest Olympian. He has earned and worked for 8 gold medals. And guess by how much? A 1/100th of a second. He has become the greatest Olympian ever. And so, that's so small. 0.001 of a second made him the greatest. So when Michelle was talking about there's a fine line between winning and losing, that guy in second place lost by a 0.001 of a second, and so much of our lives that, yes, I'll make my 5 booking calls today, or no, I'm not going to make my 5 booking calls today, is the difference between a thriving business and a not thriving business. And so I want to encourage you to, as you think about this, pick the most valuable areas, one in your business and maybe another one in some area of your life that's most important now. Those may change, have different seasons, and pick one habit, one activity that's going to get you to your goals, that you can make it so small, like it almost is offensive how easy it is. And like, if you're not consistently making a booking call a day, make your goal, make a booking call a day. Okay. Like, you're like, oh, I can do that. Okay. Well, we got to do it then, like we got to put our actions there. And so my sister, she shared a quote with me that resonates with me a lot. And it says, show me where you spend your time and your money, and I will show you what you value. And so sometimes I'm like, God, I spend my money at Starbucks. Valuing food and sugar and sweets and quick fixes, And so I want you to just be aware of those little decisions and master the mundane. I want you to value the seemingly insignificant. I want you to value it as gold. Like Michelle said, there's no quantum leaps, no magic bullets or anything. I also loved Linda Chupin shared this. There's a way that we can all give ourselves a $10,000 raise in a year. That's cool, huh? We would all love a $10,000 raise. Here's how that goes. Earning $27.40 a day. In a Mary Kay business, let's double that, let's round up 28 times 2, it's like $60, $70 or whatever. That's like selling a biocellulose mask every day, Obviously there's an average. Now, here's one way to lose $10,000 in a year. Spend $27.40 every day. Starbucks is $7 now. If you go to breakfast, if you go to dinner, or buy your lunch at work, all that can add up over time. And so just being aware of that, it helps you to make better decisions. Let's see. One thing, if you're not sure where you're wasting time, especially if you use your phone a lot, there was a report on your phone, and it shows you how many hours a day you use different apps. It's amazing. And so sometimes I challenge myself when I feel like I'm struggling, I'm getting easily distracted. I look at that number, okay? And then my goal is to decrease it. And so when I decrease that number, I celebrate. I'm like, yes, I'm making better choices and decisions. So tracking is huge. And there's so many different ways to do that. Let's see. I think those were the main things I wanted to point out. I think that is it. Oh, I love our Bible verse from Children's Church for this month. It's Galatians 6:9. It says, do not become tired in doing good, because at the right time, you will reap a crop. Now that's like a new international version, but I really love, don't become weary in doing good, because in due season, you will reap a harvest. When you can't cheat the grind, and God is always faithful. He has never failed. And another thing I read in my book, Draw the Circle, by Mark Batterson, I always get it wrong. The main thing is one page says, believe God's word, take him at his word. And if it says, don't get tired and doing good, you will reap a harvest. So if you're struggling in your business, or you're frustrated or whatever, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. You will reap a harvest. And you're going to be so glad that you did.
Thank you, Marianne. And so that reminds me of what we always say, is that you have to give God something to bless. All right. So when you're not, because I really believe, in Mary Kay, that this business was ordained by God. I know it's the mission field for me. I know that God puts the right women in my path, and sometimes it's not, they're in my life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. It's not for me to choose, but I know that when they're in my space, I am going to be obedient. And so I want you to, when you think about what you want from your Mary Kay business, and you guys are all different, you all are coming in at different goals, you've been in different amount of time, some of you are brand new. Think about, if you knew you couldn't fail in the next 6 months, what would you want? Okay, what would you want? And then tell your sales director, because we know how to back you into that goal. That's part of this process that we're talking about, because it's, if you want it, you can have it. You just do the work. It's like walking into a room. In that book, it talks about you just know it's going to happen because you just know. Like walking into a room and you flip on the light. You don't have to motivate yourself to will the light to come on or pray that the light's going to come on. You know that the light is going to come on when you flip it on in a dark room. That's what your goal is like, because you do the work and the results come. It's not magical, it is mathematical. And so if you say, Michelle, Marianne, whichever one of us is your sales director, I want a free car. You literally can do it in 6 months. When you go to an event with Mary Kay, I'm almost finished, I promise. When you go to an event with Mary Kay and I tell you, go ask one of the sales directors, go ask 3 sales directors. I used to give this challenge, go ask 3 sales directors how long it took her to become a sales director, because we're the top 2% of the company. Pink Cadillac sales directors are top 1%. Go ask her how long it took her to become a sales director. She is not going to tell you how long she's been in. She's going to tell you once her decision was made up in her mind and in her heart, it was 6 months. I promise you, because that's with anybody's big goal. Big goal. You have a big God, you serve a big God, and he believes in big dreams, okay? Nothing good happens inside your comfort zone. God is not there. He's not needed there. He's not. He is out here where he's put you here, and he didn't put you here to fail. He's put you here to do some big things for whatever reason. And what you come in for is not what you stay for. I came in for a $500 minivan payment with 2 babies. I wasn't going to have any more kids. All the extras that I got, the adoption money to adopt from China, I couldn't see that far. I didn't have faith enough to go and adopt a baby from China. I didn't see private schools for 5 children, much less 2 children. I couldn't see that far. You go as far as you can see, and then you'll see farther. That is how God works. He doesn't give us the whole vision at once because we can't handle it. But you have a vision. He plants a vision in your heart and in your mind right now, and that's from him. And he already knows the outcome. He already knows what the finish line looks like. But so many people are starters, but they don't know how to finish. And that's what we are here for, is to help you finish. Okay? The victory flags are already waving. You just have to cross that line. And you deciding what you want now and we back into it with the process of this business because it's mathematical. Okay. Making those booking attempts, holding those appointments, sharing the opportunity, following up with your customers, doing all your PCPs, getting those books in front of your customers, developing and building those relationships for that reorder business. All of that is part of the foundation that you're going to build for this beautiful dynasty, this $1 million business that you have, that you are the president and the CEO of. Okay. All you have to do is put the open sign on the door and let people know you're in business. Okay. All right. So guys, thank you for being on tonight. This is recorded. Don't forget our virtual party on Wednesday. If you have some local gals that you want to get some samples to, I can mail those out. They can possibly get there. The mail's getting faster, I believe. So we could actually probably get some sample packets to your guests that are a little bit further away that you can't drop off, and get them on our virtual party on Wednesday night. And you guys, thanks for being on. And we want to know your goals. Send us your goals so that we can customize a plan for you. Okay. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Great week.
You guys have a great week too.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.